Hello, how you doing? This is War. It is a pleasure and opportunity to conduct this video. I would like to apologize ahead of time that I might stutter. There's a funny story about stuttering that I haven't dissected yet, or I haven't ingested the things that I had witnessed, like from my stuttering. As a child, I grew up in Sudan, in in a cartoon, and the main language there is Arabic. But due to my surprise that my family, every time I stuttered, they had the ability to change my speech pattern from Arabic to English, and as soon as they do that, I was able to express myself fully in the English language or in whatever I was trying to project or state at that time or in that moment. So, as an infant, I had witnessed a lot of abnormality, a lot of weird things, ghosts. I've seen people coming from the sky, coming down. I've seen my aunt, my favorite aunt, appearing from nowhere, appearing just like coming down on an angle, on about skewed or about say 50-degree angle, like coming down about 50 to 60-degree angle. I've seen her appearing as a child, and as soon as she appeared, I reverted to an even younger form, and she starts speaking in English as if, but I understood her as if I knew her, but at that time I didn't. I met her, I think, in Egypt once, and my mother was she was talking shit about her, and then I finally had the opportunity to intimately get the opportunity to get close to her and know who she is, and that's in the United States. So my stuttering is not the only abnormalities that, or the abnormality that I had acquired through living this life, but it's something that it has been forced upon me. So yeah, I'm just talking about my stuttering. This is my first video talking about weird stuff. You know, there was a kid. His name is Amanya. He's Dawood's son. He was finished off right there in Sudan. He was in his white form. He was barking like a dog, and there was a white guy appear from nowhere, and he was talking to him. He made a threat, and he got scared, and he pointed toward me, and he started barking like a dog. And the guy was like, "Who you barking at?" or something like that. And he was like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you like you're Kabir." And like the guy was like, "I'm not Kabir." And he pointed toward me, and it's like, he's the big guy, and he's the boss. Like he was pointing like toward me that I'm the boss. And then he told Amanya that I will have to finish you off now because you even made a bigger mistake. You didn't threaten me, but you threatened, his boss, and that was me as an infant, and that was even a bigger mistake. And then Amanya stated that you will have to catch me first. And then the guy was like, you're not going to run far. Oh yeah, I find it helpful to have an earplug. My brain is thumping at a higher rate. Um, there's a constant beat. I could hear um, a lot of sounds and a lot of noises at a lower frequency. So my speech pattern has been um, there is an interference with my speech patterns, and I am trying to solve the issue. I'm trying to find a way to bypass the thumping. I think the past 5 years or so, I've been I, I, um, I've been thinking a lot. Therefore, I need to slow down. I need to calm down. I need to relax. I need the opportunity to relax because I've been thinking and overthinking about a lot of weird things that had happened in my life since infancy. But I would like to start with stuttering. And in that house, my auntie, her name is Cooley, and she passed away, but she didn't. There were moments like where she will change into into Vanessa Frazier. At that time, I knew her differently, but I didn't recognize her due to her height, her size, and everything. It was different. And then my own mother, she has a younger brother. His name is Philip, but that kid, he actually he actually is Alex Frazier. He could turn into that. And the only reason I could actually say that with extreme, with extreme certainty, there was a moment. My uncle's second wife, that's here in America, I met her there. I met her when I was a child back in Sudan, and she came there to take the younger one, from me. That's another story. They were talking about things that are going to happen, and as a child, until today, I don't talk a lot. I like to listen. I see a lot of weird stuff. So, you know, like a survival tactic, you have to you have to be aware of things, but then you have to be quiet. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to speak, because now they know and they can implicate you into other weird stuff. So that was Vanessa, and they are black as me and dark, but then they turn white, like glowing white. Even the woman, I'm in Egypt right now, and that's a later on story. Uh, she could turn into like a different form. I got really aggressive, and I looked down on her really forcefully, and she started changing from a light skinned woman to a white lady. uh, when I was at the Egyptian airport, I got extremely happy. My whole form changed. I became like a big guy. You know what I mean? And I was talking to this other guy, and he literally shrank. So I'm having a lot of weird experience even in my older age. And there was an American guy like right behind me, and he was shocked. He actually changed too. You know what I mean? I was the big guy, so it's it's weird. So I went to Aswan. I started speaking different languages, like their own tribal languages. They're Nubian, so it's a lot of weird things that are happening in my life as I'm living it. And I went to Miami and I started seeing the same weird stuff. So I'm in Egypt at this moment. I'm going to be here for 2 months, and then the third month, I'm going to go back to the stateside. I'm going to get an apartment, and then I'm going to start traveling back to Miami, because the like at my like it like in my first night or at my first night in Miami, in my first night, like on my first day in Miami, like on that night I was driving, I started witnessing weird, like weird stuff, and I'm not talking about the the like gay people and the weird people and the faggery and the faggot environment, like environment is okay. I felt like I was in like a Grand Theft Auto. I felt like I was in GTA. You know what I mean? When I went to like Miami, that's how I felt. Like it felt like in a Spanish town, but with a lot of gay people in it. So I really hate gay people. So I'm going to have to endure being around weird people just to learn the ability to control the different lights. I don't change a lot, but everybody around me they either like match the whole body, like either like in white. I could turn red, but I'll be transparent, and I could turn blue, but I'll be transparent. But when I'm in my blue form, I look like a white boy. So it's just kind of another weird form. I was at a Buffalo Wild Wing, and there's this black American, and something happened in my heart, and he looked at me and he did his hand again like that, the same shit, and I changed blue, and everything turned blue around me. And then the lady that was like with him, it start, and then the first thing he said was, "What the fuck is that?" Because I look like a white boy, and I start growling, and I would, and I had no control over it. The other lady was like, "This is it. He's a new thing. We really don't know what he is," and she started talking about me as if she knows everything about me, and it was a weird experience. I had a lot of weird experience at that Buffalo, like a Wild Wing. There was a worker. He does that zing thing. I don't know how he does it, but he identified me as a as God, as a God child, and he is God, and he doesn't know it, and those other weird stuff. So yeah, I'm just talking about all the weird stuff, but I'm starting with stuttering and how I still have it, but at that time, things weird things are happening. Anyways, if you're going through it, also try to pace yourself because your brain will overwork and start thumping, and that's something that I'm going through it right here right now. I could hear like an extreme thumb, like an overworking, like my brain is thumping harder than my heart. I could hear my own brain thumping, then I could hear my heart. So I don't feel my heart. I'm always constantly, concentrating in my brain. And there's something going on. So I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to try to regain my ability to speak. I'm actually a good speaker. Um, I'm a political. I'm a political. I am a politician. I'm a political activist. So I held a lot of speeches. I held a lot of conference. I talk. I do a lot of stuff. So to wake up and lose my ability to speak, I haven't lost it. I haven't had the opportunity to engage, nor the opportunity to interact. I've been on the road for the past 3 years, constantly thinking. So I'm going to cease my interaction. I'm actually going to write everything down, and I was going to do a freestyle. I'm going to talk about things, but I think it will be more like a professional for me personally to write a speech and then make a video, because I can't do that, especially with the thumping. And you will be able to see this on me a lot because I'll be able to hear my own voice, and I'll be able to project my own voice adequately. So yeah, and I'm having a harder time slowing down. So there's a lot of information in my head. I'm trying to like sort it out. I'm trying to slow down, but there's so much information that I had accumulated. I have to digest it and then relax and then be able to like propagate it and also like foster a better understanding of whatever I had to digest. So yeah. Anyways, this is just a little thing about the most like the weirdest thing that happened to me. This is just one of the weirdest thing, but I just want to put out there. I'm going to talk about a lot of weird things. So I hope you find it interesting and enlightening. Eventually, I'm going to like get into spirituality and ascension, and I'm going to talk about Adenaku. I'm going to talk about like the deep diver. I'm going to talk about like a teleswan. Those are like the first time I met Teleswan. I haven't met her personally. I've seen her on a video. I was a young kid and I was on YouTube, and I'm a YouTuber since I was a child. I love watching spiritual, like it's like spiritual stuff. So I'm going to reach that level, but right here, right now, I'm going to talk about the weird things that I am experiencing. I've seen a kid. I was next to a Motel 6. I was outside like in my car. I was smoking. He came out and he's like literally he ate the cat. I think.